Hey guys, what's up? Neo here. Today we're going to be looking at the Evolve Shaman deck. In this video I'm going to be talking about the basic strategies, the main combos, the mulligans, and then as per usual we'll play some example games so you can see the deck in action. The Evolve Shaman has a couple of basic strategies depending on the style of deck you're playing against, being the more aggressive style decks or the slower control style decks. So against the aggro style decks, you want to be basically keeping control of the board so you can dictate trades and get, maximum value out of those trades. And also then you can hopefully start pushing a bit of face damage and basically really just keep control of the game and minimize the amount of damage that you're taking and, survive to the mid long term stages in the game, and then you'll be able to overpower your opponent. Now against the slower control style decks, you want to be going for a snowball effect. So what I mean by this is you want to basically be playing some cheap minions as soon as possible. Hopefully you'll be able to combo these cheaper minions that you play on the first couple of turns with cards such as the Flame Tongue Totem. So you can basically, turn your cheap minions into these really hard-hitting minions which you can either make good trades with or you can hit the face for a heap of damage. Here's the version of the Evolve Shaman deck that I've been running, pretty stock standard. As you'll see, there are a lot of cheap minions, which is kind of the idea of the deck. You want to get minions out onto the board as soon as possible to either fend off the aggro style decks or start a snowballing type effect against the slower decks, as I mentioned in the strategy section. With that, let's go and take a look at some of the main combos and synergies in this deck. The first couple of cards I want to talk about are the Flame Tongue Totem and the Primal Fin Totem. Essentially, as I've said a couple of times now, the Flame Tongue Totem works really well because it's a great combo with the cheap minions you'll be playing on the first couple of turns. You can add huge value to their attack. You're turning a 1 attack minion into a 3 attack minion, which is a huge amount of value added, especially when you trade that into minions that might be significantly more valuable than that. Even hitting face for a heap of damage is really good. And it's all part of the snowballing type effect that I've mentioned earlier. We have the Primal Fin Totem as well. At the end of each of your turns, it'll summon a 1/1 Murloc. Once again, just is really good for starting to fill the board up with a heap of minions. The thing to be careful about with this is obviously your opponent's going to try and kill it the moment you play it, because the longer it's up, it just keeps generating value over and over and over again. So potentially this can be a good card to play, after you've flushed out a Mage's Frostbolt or something like that. Alternatively, you can use the Primal Fin Totem to flush out a Frostbolt if you want to play something on the following turn, maybe like a Mana Tide Totem. Let's segue into the Thing from Below card. This gets cheaper for every totem that you've summoned in the game. This counts for both your hero power and obviously playing the totem cards, which I just spoke about. This card's been a pretty solid card in most Shaman deck variants for a long time now because very quickly it can end up costing 0, so you can get just huge value out of this card. This deck has a few of the Jade Golem summoning cards. So essentially, the way the Jade Golems work is if you summon a Jade Golem, the first one you summon will be a 1/1, and then each Jade Golem you summon after that will continuously get stronger by 1 attack, 1 health. So the second one you summon will be a 2/2, and so on and so forth. In this deck, we have a few of these cards. The first one being Jade Claws, which is quite a solid weapon for taking out some of the early game minions, and it also summons a Jade Golem. We have the Jade Lightning, which is good for taking out some of the mid-game minions or also just helping to finish your opponent off, especially if he's hiding behind some taunts and doesn't have much health left. It's really, really good for getting around that. And then we have ApHBApvCAuvCAgA. This is just a really, really powerful legendary card because the Battle Cry and the Death Rattle summon a Jade Golem, and it has some pretty nice attack on it as well. Even though this deck's called the Evolve Shaman, we also run the Devolve card. Essentially, for 2 mana, you can transform all enemy minions into random ones that cost 1 less. So this is really valuable because your opponent might have some really extremely strong minions that you are having trouble dealing with. They might have a great set of minions that are comboed well together, which are causing big problems for you. Let's talk, maybe like the Gadgets and Auctioneer, and they just keep, getting cards out if you're playing as a Jade Druid, and you can just transform that into some random minion that's going to stuff them up, basically. So this is a really valuable card in this deck and can really save you. Evolve card costs 1 mana, transforms your minions into random ones that cost 1 more. So that's pretty good. Especially, the whole point of this deck is essentially having heaps of cheap minions on the board. So if you're playing all these 1/2 cost minions and you evolve them so they cost 1 more, it's a pretty, decent value increase there. Now, the reason I've got the Doppelgangster listed here is this combos really well with the Evolve because the Doppelgangster summons essentially 3 2/2 minions, and if you evolve that, you can get some pretty solid stuff onto the board. So it's really good if you've had your board cleared out and you just need to get something more powerful back on the board. Obviously, the Evolve with a full board of cheap minions works really well as well. Final combo I want to talk about is the Bloodlust card. So for 5 mana, give your minions +3 attack this turn. So this works really well comboed with all your cheap minions that you have in the deck, because you can quite easily fill the board up. And if you have a full board of minions, that's going to be 21 extra attack from Bloodlust. Plus the minions damage, that's pretty much going to be lethal, even if your opponent has full health. So realistically, you want to hold on to the Bloodlust card until you have lethal using it. Basically, you can catch your opponent off balance. They'll most likely not be expecting it and just be GG. Alternatively, you might have to play it to survive if your opponent has a couple of strong minions that you just can't deal with, and you might be on the verge of, getting lethal yourself. But hopefully you're actually able to hold on to this and use it to finish your opponent off. Now that I've spoken about the main combos and some of the more important cards in this deck, let's go and take a look at the mulligans. Here are the mulligans you want to be going for against aggro style decks. First of all, we have the Bloodcell Corsair. Essentially, you want to be playing this so that you summon patches straight away. So you're getting 2 cheap minions on the board. You can make some good early game trades. Potentially as well, if your minions don't die on turn 1, you might be able to combo them with the Flame Tongue Totem on turn 2 and make some really good valuable trades or even hit face. I mean, the Bloodcell Corsair also works pretty well against the Pirate Warrior, especially if they go first, play a weapon. You can basically, take 1 durability off that. That is fairly significant in those aggro matchups. Next, we have the Firefly. So this is a really good value generation card. I mean, it's a 1-cost minion, and the Battle Cry gives you another 1/2 into your hand, which you can also play on the following turn. I mean, that's essentially the main reason we want it. And once again, it combos really well with the Flame Tongue Totem. As I mentioned a few times now, the Flame Tongue Totem is just really great value card that works really well with all the cheap minions in this deck. So definitely hold on to this in your mulligan. It's probably the number 1 mulligan in this deck. Then we have the Jade Claws. This is also another really good mulligan. I mean, it's a 2 mana cost and it gives you a 2/2 weapon plus summons a Jade Golem. So it can be used to take out some of the early game minions of other aggro decks. And it gives you a little bit, a tiny board presence. So it's definitely worth it. We have a couple of conditional mulligans, I guess. We have the Primal Fin Totem. You really only want to hold on to this if you've got a strong hand. I mean, yes, you can use it to snowball the game, but it'll basically get targeted really quickly by aggro style decks. So it's kind of not worth playing unless you've got a little bit of, you've already got stuff on the board to protect it. I mean, it basically acts as a taunt because your opponent is going to, put the 3 damage or more into it to take it out. So there is some value there, but as I said, don't hold on to it unless you've got a really good hand already. As for the Maelstrom Portal, this is worth holding on to if you're playing against an aggro style deck that likes to put lots of, cheap minions on the board. And you can obviously combo this with your Spell Power Totem to make it do 2 damage if you get lucky. These are the mulligans you want to be going for against slower style decks. As you'll notice, they're pretty similar to the aggro style decks. I mean, the Primal Fin Totem and Jade Claws are swapped around, so the Jade Claws have become a situational card. Anyway, once again, Bloodcell Corsair, you want to be playing this just for the, the value of playing one mana, and you get 2 cheap minions for it onto the board, and then hopefully on the following turn you can combo that with the Flame Tongue Totem. Same deal again with the Firefly, cheap minion, gives you another minion, combos well with Flame Tongue Totem. I think you guys are starting to see the strategy of this deck. It's all about comboing the cheap minions with the Flame Tongue Totem, essentially, or later on the track evolving them or bloodlusting. Next, we have the Primal Fin Totem. So, as opposed to aggro style decks, usually the slower style decks aren't going to have a heap of cheap minions on the board that they can easily, trade into this and take out early on. They might have to use some spells to kill it, such as Frostbolt, Jade Lightning, whatever. So it has a little bit more survivability there. As well, if your opponent does take this out, that means they've probably blown their only Frostbolt or whatever spell they've got in their hand. And then on the following turn, that gives you the ability to play, a Flame Tongue Totem or even a Mana Tide Totem. And they'll have a lot of potentially trouble killing that because they've got nothing left in their hand that they can deal with that straight away. So that can be a pretty viable strategy there too. So the couple of situational cards we have the Mana Tide Totem. So this deck can suffer, from running out of cards. So the Mana Tide Totem is quite important. It's only worth holding on to if you already have a good hand. So, I mean, if you don't have any of these 1-cost minions, Flame Tongue Totem, etc., I would drop that and try and pick those up. Otherwise, it's worth holding on to because, as I said, the deck does start running out of cards pretty quickly because all the minions are cheap, so you can be hammering down, 2+ cards a turn and you run out real quick. The Jade Claw is also situational. Essentially, you want to hold on to this if you think your opponent's going to have a minion with some decent health, like the Cleric or the Mana Worm, something that has some decent health that you actually really need to take out ASAP. So now I've spoken about the basic strategies, the combos, the mulligans. At this point, I'm going to go play some example games and I can talk you guys through the plays as I go. Alright, we're playing against another Shaman. Also, please note, I do apologize that I'm only playing against low-ranked people at the moment. It's only been a few days since reset and I haven't actually had much time to play yet. Yes, I was unfortunate I didn't get to play my games before the reset. Anyway, here we are. So, Stonehill Defender, no. Just thinking about Jade Claws. I mean, if they also play a Primal Fin Totem, it's potentially worth holding on to. Yeah, so we'll keep with the Jade Claws. I think I'll drop the Portal. Now, Primal Fin, they might actually have trouble killing that, but we really want to go for the Blood Cell Corsair, Firefly, etc. Sorry, Flame Tongue Totem, so I'm going to actually drop that. And I ended up with kind of a similar hand, except Bloodlust. And see, they've got patches in their hand, so that's no good for them. I am probably... I mean, I really want to coin into the Jade Claws, but that has Overload attached to it, so the next turn will still only have 1 mana again. I mean, that probably isn't the end of the world, because otherwise, essentially, we do nothing this turn anyway. It'd be nice to clear that out. And, I mean, that gives us a little bit of damage. If they play Mana Tide Totem, Primal Fin Totem, we have enough damage to trade into it, so that's pretty good. Or they could do that, which is fine, because... Oh wow, okay, Firefly, good. It's kind of either hoping for a Firefly or a Blood Cell Corsair. Corsair would have been better, of course, but it's gonna ignore that totem. I don't really want to waste my weapon on it. Yeah, I mean, I'm risking allowing him to get a Spell Power Totem, but at this point, we only got 3 mana. He's not going to be able to do much with it. He's not going to be able to combo it with a Maelstrom Portal or something like that, so yeah. Yes, that's about all we can do. And probably our best combo here will probably be to Maelstrom Portal, Weapon into Flame Tongue Totem, then Golem into that totem. Yeah, I don't really see anything else we can do at this point. Let's see what we get from this. We could get Charge Minion. That's actually pretty good. 3 health is nice. So, order is important. Obviously take out the totem first so that Jade Golem lives. I'll play Flame Elemental as well. Gives us a decent dish-sized board. Having the Bloodlust is, at this point, kind of nice now. At the start I wasn't too happy about it because it's just a wasted card. There's that Primal Fin Totem, so let's take care of that. As far as what to play, probably Stonehill Defender is going to be the best. Hopefully we can get Alec here. What do we want a Primordial Drake to clear out? I think we probably want the Alec here. Yeah. By the time we can use it, it'll be well, by the time we can play an 8-cost card, I don't know about the Primordial Drake. I mean, it's potentially going to be more annoying for ourselves to play that because the way things are looking, we've got a pretty decent board.
This is our town, scrub.
Okay, so that's really quite nice. Other options we have are how much blood loss can you give us? We've got 4, so don't give us 12 damage. It's decent, but it's not there yet. We can Jade Lightning into the Master of Illusion, which is pretty tempting. Alternatively, Flame Tongue Totem. You can trade most of these minions down. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go. We can quite happily trade most of these away. And we can push a little bit of face damage too, which is quite nice. Get another totem up. I was kind of hoping that was going to be the healing totem, but another taunt's okay. Gives us a bit more protection for the Flame Tongue. Given pretty likely, I'm thinking Jade Lightning into Flame Tongue Totem. Yeah, I mean, another thing to be careful about too is overcommitting at this point. Luckily, having the Doppelgangster in hand is good. It's a good recovery tool if we lose our full board. Yep, that's what I expected. We can probably at this point Jade Lightning. Oh, we need to consider how much damage we've got again, because we can basically play the Bloodsail Corsair, get a Patches, and use Bloodlust. So how many is that going to give us? 4, 5, which is 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. It's getting pretty close. That's actually probably worth it because we can Jade Lightning on the following turn. Yeah, so let's play super aggressive here. And yes, that does actually get rid of his weapon too. Yeah, so he's in a lot of trouble. I mean, he's got to clear all that out, plus, I don't know, heal. And heal a significant amount too. Cool with that. Even if he gets a taunt, doesn't matter. Yep, that's GG. Nice.
Well played. That's incredible.
Nice. Show Bloodlust for good measure. He didn't like that. Awesome. Cool. Alright, we're playing as the Druid. So, question is he playing the Aggro Druid or is he playing the Jade Druid? Hard to tell. At this rank, could be either way. So, I'm actually going to hold on to the Jade Claws. That works really well against Aggro Token Druid. Maelstrom Portal is not too bad as well. Devolve is nice too, actually. For playing against the Jade Druid, however, we'll need to use the Devolve at the end when his Jades get enormous. I mean, yeah, still not great. Probably actually Devolve will be better used to get rid of some taunt minions. Help us push some face damage. At this point, it is probably worth going for Jade Claws. Push a little bit of face damage in case he has weapon removal. And then unfortunately next turn we can't do a lot unless we draw a Bloodsail Corsair, Firefly, etc. Which is okay. Yep, can't really do anything. I mean, we could hit face again, but I'm not going to do that. Next turn, potentially Stonehill Defender, depending on what he plays. Yep. He's playing the Jade. So basically we need to try and get the snowball effect happening, which is kind of unfortunate the cards we started with. Flame Tongue Totem helps. We get a Stonehill Defender out. These are not all that great. Probably going to take the Guardian so we can heal a minion. Next turn we can get the Flame Tongue Totem. To buff our Stonehill Defender a little bit there, so that's pretty good. He's gonna try and hit it. Cool, okay, I'm fine with that. Depending on what we draw, we may totem. Okay, nice. Hit face for heaps of damage. That's pretty good. Totem placement's important to think about here. Yeah, you want to try and get the minions spawning to the left of the totem, because when you play your hero's totem card, it's going to spawn them on the right. Now this is potentially a devolve target, so we can try and punish for a bit of damage here. We might potentially be able to devolve plus Maelstrom Portal and see how that plays out. Okay, that enforces a bit of a problem. Okay, Maelstrom Portal anyway at least clears out 2. Okay, that's it's not worth it. We trade that in. Probably play the Firefly. That's okay. Yeah, see, I'd like to evolve, but that's gonna kill off the Flame Tongue Totem. I can probably, yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, we can, however, play the Doppelgangster plus evolve.
What to do?
That'll probably give us some pretty good damage. Or pretty good cards onto the board. Those are nearly dead. I think that's our best play. An 8-2 with stealth. Cool. Yeah, that board's pretty significant now. I just wonder if he's got something good to help clear it out, if he's got another Primordial Drake. I mean, annoyingly that would get the 8-2. Yeah, I was wondering what was making my weapons cost less. Yes, he has to be very careful here. I'm actually really curious as to what he's going to do. If he's going to swipe. Okay. Looking for something. Okay. He is getting very lucky that I've not drawn a Bloodlust. I mean, does it really matter at this point though? We have a lot of damage. Cheap weapon is good. Um 2-6 taunt. Yeah, that's pretty good. Has a lot of health, so he'll have problems. Even if he manages to clear out a lot of the other stuff, he'll have smashed. Okay, Shaman again. I would say evolve.
For Doomhammer.
Bloodcell Corsair's nice. Yeah. Let's just drop everything other than the Corsair. Okay, Jade Claws is good. If he plays anything significant, we can take it out. Or he could just AFK. Yeah, let's play the Corsair, get the patches out. Do that awesome one face damage. Yep. Do I really want to do that? Nah, just ignore it and go face. So what do we got next turn? We only have 2 mana again. We still have coin. Okay. Oh, so many Jade Claws. I think that one we probably want to trade into. Let's have a look what totem we get. Yeah, I'm okay with trading into that. Next turn we have the option of Jade Lightning, which I think I might use against that because that's going to be kind of annoying. This looks like it could end up being a Jade turn. The other option is use the Corsair and take out one durability from his weapon. I'm pretty keen to do that. Actually, I'd be pretty keen to do that plus the Jade Lightning. Actually, there's no need. Although it gives us pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Gives us a good board presence. I mean, it looks like we have 2 minions on the board plus a weapon equipped, and he has nothing. So that's pretty nice. And the following turn we can Flame Tongue Totem. We have the option for Evolve. Will the Flame Tongue Totem get us enough? That's gonna take a pretty heavy hit of damage. We'll have to trade in everything. Plus take a heap of face damage. That's not that nice. Don't think we have much of a choice though. He's got pretty significant overload next turn. Yeah, that kind of sucks, but Can't do much about it. That's good, he can't even Maelstrom. Sorry, Jade Lightning. Okay. That's good, we can treat into that easy enough, that's nice. Probably, I think this might be time for IR. Yeah, Jades are not too bad. I mean, they're not really going to get too much bigger.
Bottoms up.
Get them, boys.
Time to evolve. Not too bad. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, Lord Jiraxis. That's insane. You'll have to do something really significant now because I can Flame Tongue Totem plus Bloodlust. Reasonably significant? Yep. More than enough. Nice. Okay, we have a Druid.
I must protect the wild.
For Doomhammer.
That is a pretty terrible hand. I can drop everything. Even worse. Okay, save by Blood Cell Corsair. Man, like nightmares just hearing that Patch's noise. I'm just contemplating whether I should be a little bit crazy and go for an evolve, but I don't think so. Potentially next turn, depending on what happens. We might... yeah. Definitely not now. Should have used it. Just got another evolve. Damn. It is actually probably worth playing the thing from below. I mean, what else are we gonna do? Jade Lightning? No, I want to save that for later. It's kind of... yeah, I mean, it's pretty expensive. But 4 mana for a 5/5. I mean, the other option was I was just gonna play Totem and then nothing. So... So I think we want to go for the evolve next turn. Because we can play the Doppelgangster. We'll see what he does here. I'm trying to think of what he's actually going to be able to do to deal with that. Yeah. And the following turn, we can actually... oh... we could actually not even play the Doppelgangster and do a double evolve. Which is going to generate more value. That's going to put a lot of... yeah, they're pretty strong minions. I think we want to go for a single evolve here, not get too greedy. I mean, We can't get much more greedy than that to full board. Oh wow, we got 2 of those Jade Behemoths. Yeah, so next turn we can Jade Claw's Bloodlust. Unless he somehow manages to clear everything out, that's game over.
This way. Power.
Such a crazy combo that is. Yeah. Smashed.
Thrall versus Thrall.
Okay, Shaman.
For Doomhammer.
Cool, with Blood Cell Corsair, we have the Jade Claws, we have the Evolve. Let's... I'm gonna actually... let's drop the Evolve. Yeah. Yep, actually Jade Lightning can be handy.
Greetings from
Doppelgangster.
the elements will destroy
We can always hold off playing that. Try and take out some of the weapons. Not really worth it. I mean, essentially if he doesn't have Jade Claws, then... yeah, it's not great. See? We can play our Totem. Spell Power. Double Jade Lightning, wow. Just go crazy face damage now. It's actually quite interesting that he didn't trade into the Spell Power Totem. How long do I'm playing? Do we want to go for Alec here at turn 8? Or do we want the poisonous?
I wonder.
What do I like for next turn? Totem, Jade Claws, Jade Lightning. Yeah, I think you're Alec here. I'm pretty set up for next turn. I'm not gonna bother trading into the Jade Golem with patches. Stonehill's got too much health. I mean, he's probably gonna Maelstrom Portal, I think, plus trade his Jade Golem in, which is cool. Yeah.
One shot, one kill.
That's nice. How do I want to play this? Do I play Flame Tongue? No, I think we wait till next turn. I'm actually not... no, I'm going to take that out. I'm going to keep that Jade alive. So we can hopefully use it with some Flame Tongue value. Or not. Following turn will probably be Doppelgangster Evolve, so I might actually chuck this down to try and bait something out of him. He's only got 3 mana though for this turn. Yeah, Jade Lightning. One tip, always remember, before you evolve, make sure you attack with everything you've got alive into face. Obviously don't if you're going to kill them into a taunt or something. But, yes. So right now I could lose 1 face damage, which, you know, can make the difference. I was almost thinking about Primal Fin Totem then, but Evolve's too good. Let's clear the board out. Oh, we got another one of these Stalkers again. Stalkers are so good. Oh, wow, Illidan. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good. We've got one of these before too, the Priestess. Let's play IR. We can Alakir next turn. Oh, it'd be nice if we had a Flame Tongue Totem up with it. Do we want to Alakir? 6 face damage, it's a fair bit. Yeah, let's do it. And he's got to deal with a Divine Shield when he's got nothing on the board. Be a significant investment considering he's already used Maelstrom Portal. Becomes the Evolve. Huh. How much damage do we have? 8 plus 6, 14. Okay. Nice. Perfect lethal. Smashed. Pretty happy with how those games went. Just smashed most of them out and won quite easily. I mean, yes, I was playing against lower ranked people than I'd normally be playing against because it's the start of the season. I haven't had much time to play the last couple of days, but they were still good example games for the deck and just showing how, you know, you just keep pushing that value onto the board. Those cheap minions, you keep buffing them with the Flame Tongue Totem, using stuff like the Doppelgangster Evolve combo and just, you know, building a huge board, and then, you know, you can chain that into a Bloodlust the following turn and just smash face and game over. That concludes my Evolve Shaman deck guide. I hope you guys found it useful. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please drop me a like, subscribe, comment. Check out other videos on my channel. Tell your friends, of course, as always. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Until next time, farewell.